Hey everyone, Trail Decker here doing another playthrough of Design League 4.4. So I'm going in alphabetical order. So this is the second one, DL 4.4, Anemoia. Sorry if I got that incorrect. So yeah, doing playthroughs of the Dealer's Choice Challenge, which was for them to pick of a list of challenges to put into their course. And this one, he picked par 4 longer than a par 5 and 2 long par 3s. So let me make sure I'm on for this tee. I'm going to do them on pin 4 and then go low wind speed, so that's not a big issue when I play. And let me start some music. I don't want vocals. The next one. Alright. So this one ended up with getting 4th. And you can see it's kind of like mountainous area with some rocks and things. And let me look at the scorecard. So 4 and 5 are going to be the long par 3s. I'm not sure why you had 3 tees with such differences, where like 5 gets down to 89 yards after being 207. But yeah, and then number 1 is the long par 4 and 2 is the shorter par 5. So oh, and I remember you did a bunch of them and then picked 2, and I only judged the ones that you picked, but I do think that didn't help you doing all of those items because it led to some funkiness that thought you would have made a better course if you just picked 2. Like, yeah, and rather, I get the fun of doing all those challenges, but doing so many of them, I think kind of hindered what you came up with. So I get you kind of have that annoying tree. It looks a little funky being right next to the water, but this is a tree-lined area, so it's not the worst out of it, or not the worst idea. And I like that it. Let's see how it plays. Got the light rough. Never sure how much light rough affects. The bunker shaping, I don't even know if the bunker shaping, I get what you're doing, like a little raggedy. It could be done a little bit neater and a little bit more designed, but hit that, oh, I hit the wrong side of the hill. Planting's pretty good. It's a good start. I do remember, like, some of that, there could be a little bit more underbrush in some of the trees in the back, and there's some areas I remember, and I'll hopefully remember to point it out when I see it, where you really see beyond the trees, so just dropping some underbrush, basically sinking trees to block that. Good. These bunkers, are completely blind, which is not, you don't want to do that. I get why they're there because this fairway is incredibly wide. Probably didn't hurt you a little bit being so wide. And this green is just a tiny sliver that I think comes out a little silly. Okay, so those bunkers I think are meant to be for the next hole, but especially since you can hit them, they should be visible. These two holes, it looks like the landing zones are about the same, and we'll see when we get to the next hole. That holes like this crossing so much, there should be no real reason for me to want to go over there, and right now there is, because of the angle of the green, which basically means that these two holes colliding is pretty dangerous. Yeah, and that green's just too skinny, especially for a par 5. Get what you're doing, it just need a little bit more quality control looking at it, trying to decide how much is too much. I've been playing on without tempo, testing out my major course, and it's made my tempo just dog shit. It's not bad, those kind of rocky outcroppings. Those two that pop up, they pop up a little bit, kind of. I would add a little bit of rocks behind them to make them not be so like abrupt, but they cool backdrop there. Strategy of that hole was a little better than the first. I liked that it was like the more open area to the right. Yeah, see here there are those bunkers, but you totally want to hit this area because of the angle of that green, which means that these guys are totally going to be hitting into each other. So this is, I know it's a video game, but still, we try to promote having a little bit of realistic thoughts about it, and this is very much a safety hazard. And I don't think you realize that the people wanted to hit over here so much, but they would because of angle of the green. I like the design. The angle should have been a little bit less. And then if you didn't want us to hit over here, yeah, I'm trying to think of solutions, but it's more than just one solution for these two holes to really work together better than they do. Yeah, you do kind of hit over it, but still, I think that's really dangerous. Yeah, and there's you did a bit of reversible nature here. No, it's not true reversible, but there's a bit of those, and I think that kind of hurts you because when you do something like that, you gotta sculpt things in two directions, and it's really hard to do that properly. There's a time and a place for blind bunkers and blindness, but it has to be very carefully done, have a reason for it to be like that. A lot of this is definitely just like sculpting blindness rather than having an intentional reason. One of the long par 3s. Okay, Get what you're kind of doing here, and I think that another double green as well. Yeah, it is. I get what you're doing here. You kind of want us to hug this area to get here because of this fall off. This isn't a bad hole. Go back down. Nice. Satisfying shot. Would have liked these par 3s to be a little spaced out in the routing, especially with it being only 6 holes when you do something like that, unless it was part of it, you know, back to back. Oh, I guess you did. There was back to back and you picked it, you just didn't make it your 2 for me to judge. I don't think, yeah. And if you, I mean, I think these would have been better spaced out, especially with them being such similar distances. It's a little bit similar. It's kind of like hug this high side, so you don't roll in the bottom side. There probably should be more. Honestly, I don't know why this is green. Just make that fairway so that you need to run it up this to get where you need to go. I'm not sure why the fairway doesn't just connect here. Kind of seems like it should. There's no real reason why they would keep that rough. Whenever you have any of this like heavy rough removed, you really want to get a rough brush and brush it so that the heavy rough doesn't just die into fairway, and I know that's light rough, but die into that manicured grass like that, because that looks a little unrealistic. And I know it's kind of annoying, there's no like gradient really to like blend. There's one brush, they kind of neutered it a little bit in this game compared to last game, but it's kind of a skinny brush, but it has a little semicircle on one side. And if you put that side, and it usually takes a couple clicks, it does a pretty good gradient heavy rough. I want to say it's pitch 3. I would like a little bit more on this hole. It's a little kind of filler of a hole where you just kind of flopped in bunker, and then like, there's no real cohesiveness exactly with the green. I kind of feel like I should just hit it here. There's not that much of a reason not to hit here, so I think the green could have been incorporated in the strategy of the hole a little bit more. God, with my fast swing right. A little bit more. So yeah, that was a good start. You had some interesting things going. I think you kind of hurt yourself picking more than just the 2 things. because it kind of forced you into stuff that I don't think helped you. But yeah, great entry. Thanks for entering, and see, good luck out there with more your further designs. All right.